Hi, welcome to this class today, live Facebook class. Today we are going to talk about the topic of psychology or mastering our psychology so that we do not have ups and downs while learning art. Well, the truth is, while learning art or doing something else. But here I'm going to talk specifically about people who are starting this journey of becoming an artist, a high quality, excellent artist. So who am I? My name is Elena Zelenina. I am a coach. I have 30 plus years of teaching and coaching experience. I published books and several books actually, but these video series and these Facebook trainings, they are mostly around the Art Completes You method, and that's the book. And I discovered that method through my own spiritual journey, through my travels, in amazing India, and really these rich experiences working with people from different walks of life in different countries and my own family. So why do I think that this topic is important? And why I wanted to do the video just on that topic without even combining it with art practices. I have started this video series live last week, and I believe there are 3 videos from last week, and you can go back and watch them. They do have art practices. And from tomorrow, I'm going to start like art lessons live, but having this topic addressed before we start going into the training in art is really, really important. Because whatever we do, especially if it is something new, our self-doubt, our judgment, the voice inside that we're not good enough can just stop us even from learning what we want to learn. And yes, here we are addressing the artists, but I heard that voice when I was starting a new career, when I faced a life-changing event, and that's what I see with many people, from graduation to divorce. We always have a way to doubt what we can do and what we need to aspire for. And with learning art, some difficult topics, let's say proportions of a human being, they might not, without the ability to address how to actually, what is the right reaction to the ups and downs that we feel. People just give up on learning the skill completely. For example, people might decide, okay, so human beings are really, difficult to draw, so I'm going to draw cats, and I will be an animal artist. So if you are an artist that paints animals, it is perfectly okay if it comes from your love for animals, your interest in what kind of being you are painting. But it cannot come from the idea that, okay, that subject is too complicated, so let me call and do something else to avoid that. So I had once a really beautiful experience with, I was having a workshop in the Metropolitan Art Museum, and one part of that workshop was actually sketching Greek statues, people live right there in the hall, and I had the inspiring, vibrant, very exciting young life coach, and she was doing the workshop just to enrich her experiences of life. So she took a book, sat down, started sketching, and then she told me, "Oh, Elena, I think I need to revisit my spiritual practices because I feel a lot of anxiety with people walking, passing by, and looking at my artwork. I feel anxiety about being judged." She had such awareness about that feeling that was very commendable, that desire to see what's going on and address that. Because the beauty about art, everything is very, very visual. It really pushes you to expand. And when we expand, we are authentic. And when we are authentic, we are doing really peak of our potential possibility, which again expands and something more is possible. But staying in that space is exciting. It's so, so exciting. And of course, the breakthroughs are huge. So if we do not have the skill that can help address our ideas of impossibility, learning things that are challenging will create struggle. And sometimes learning things, new things, difficult things is a stretch. And we need to get comfortable with it. And here, with the Art Completes You method, same thing is going to happen. Some exercises will stretch your ideas, what you think is possible for you. So how you're going to address that discomfort, that's the crucial part. And that's why I wanted to have that video on that topic. Being in charge of our ups and downs helps us create stable and absolutely inevitable progress. So the only one thing we do not need to worry is time. We are going to do our best when we learn, but we're not going to worry how much time getting this particular skill is going to take, because that part is a mystery. I've seen huge breakthroughs with all different topics within one day. People who have not sketched human bodies before were able to create good quality real life drawings of models. However, I don't want this to be a goal, because having a breakthrough in one day is awesome, but that's not about it. And for today, it's more, what are you doing when you feel anxiety that something is too difficult? That's what the main issue. Then success is inevitable. Then you are in charge of the whole learning of new thing process. So just one more thing. There are too many variables for every single one of us. So when we have these variables, how fast we understand something might be different from the person next to us. And with this ability to do the video series, when you can just be with me one-on-one, avoiding all comparison, including comparison with yourself, and just focusing on what is important and how to handle your mind, often called monkey mind. That comes up with distractions. That's a big one, by the way, for creative people. Comes up with judgment, comes up with anxieties about our standing and achievements. So we want, I mean, everyone should want, to make the learning experience fun. Fun. Imagine the scene. I already told you about the experience I had with this young girl, but imagine now you actually are the person who is sitting in the museum, whatever museum you like, preferably big and fancy, famous museum, and you are sketching. And a lot of people, and something difficult, right? It can be a statue, it can be some famous painting you're interested in, and people are walking by and they look at your sketchbook. They are interested to see what you're doing, how you're doing that. Some of them just stop right next to you and they keep staring at what you are doing while you are doing that. How are you feeling? Like, be honest with yourself right now. How are you feeling if someone is in fact standing there and watching you? Now imagine the same thing a 5-year-old is doing. They are right there in the museum. Maybe it's your child. You gave them paper, you gave them pencil, and they started drawing. People stopping, they are looking at it. How does a child feel? I'm sure you get the picture. So how come, what happens between the age of 5 to, let's say, the age of 17, when every 5-year-old is convinced they are great at learning things, doing art for sure, and at the age of 17, when they think they're not talented, they cannot be artists, like what happened in between? So school and teachers and, sorry to say that, parents happened in between. So there is another thing that really amazes me too. We do have art classes in schools, and they start pretty early, from preschool to kindergarten, and they go in, I know in New York public schools, at least to the 10th grade, but almost no one can draw. And can you imagine you have a subject like math, and you spend all these 12 years studying the subject, and then at the end, you cannot draw. So what were you doing, technically? Not you, but what were the teachers doing? Well, they were convincing you that it's a special skill, not everyone can have that skill, that even when kids are doing well, they still get these very judgmental ideas that, oh, whatever they are doing, that's not good enough. So 90% of 17-year-olds are convinced that they're either bad artists or they have no talent at all. And the 10% that have the courage and go for their talent, 90% of those people will be discouraged in college, because there the art professors show up and they will convince them again and again that, okay, they're not doing very well and this is not how it's supposed to be. I have so many crazy stories, and I will post maybe later the examples of absolutely stunning artwork that was considered like, oh, it's not so good. So anyway, now we all know that, not true. Now there is a strong evidence that every single person can draw and paint very well. There are great courses like Betty Edwards' course on drawing on the right side of the brain. Excellent course. And from my personal experience, I have never seen a single person who was not able to paint well if they are taught correctly. Not a single person, regardless the age. Not a single person, doesn't matter what the age. However, will everyone become a professional artist? No. And that's perfectly okay. It's just like driving. We can drive because we love to drive. Right now I live in New York, so I miss driving sometimes. I would rent a car and go to the suburbs and just to the park to drive around. Doesn't mean that I want to be a professional driver, right? So I still can enjoy that skill. The sad part about art being treated in such a strange way is that a lot of brain development for the young people, and guess what, for the old people, those who are concerned about dementia and Alzheimer, can come from doing right art exercises, not all art exercises, right art exercises. Same with Art Completes You method is in fact the right method, and we will talk about it later. Why? Because the context that the person creates for being capable, being possible, being able to explore creative ideas is what makes the technique method right or wrong. And I will do a special separate class for parents to how to actually help kids and how to teach them at home. Because I had a school, so clearly I saw a lot of interesting situations. But one time, the girl was 9-year-old, and mom brought her artwork to one of the workshops. And the artwork was incredible. And the most important thing was her composition, or how well she placed objects on the paper was outstanding. And when they started telling me the story, her teacher, to whom mom brought her artwork, including the child was there in front of the child, said to mom, oh, well, yeah, she needs a lot of training. Look, her eyes are not that great. There's too many details that can be improved. What? So stories like that are daily happenings. Kids are given these ridiculous ideas like we were given the same ridiculous ideas when we were growing up. But beautiful thing, we do not cherish all the ideas we were given. We were able to give up some of them. So we can do the same thing with art, okay? We can and we should and we will change our thought currents, our cognitions, our ideas about ourselves, and turn our sad person who thinks, oh, I'm judged, I am not good, to a happy person who is exploring. It's okay to learn. It's exciting to gain the skill. The process is fun. The result is amazing. The driving example, can you imagine, like, for example, okay, so let's say with the art. By the way, I created this thing at one of the previous workshops, and I liked it. It was spontaneous drawing, and I liked it so much. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do the graphic design like that. The sad thing and the happy, sad sun and happy sun, and hopefully they will merge together in one happy sun, but grounded. So let's imagine that you are driving and your turns are not that good, or your parallel parking is not that great. Are you going to say, I am not good at turns, therefore I'm not going to drive? Or, I am not good at parallel parking, it's not easy for me, so I should not learn to drive. Right? You wouldn't do that. It just makes no sense. But with art, with these kind of skills, we do that because we think they are some kind of inaccessible to us. And this is not true. Having the ability to play with it, apart from the magic stuff that I am going to teach, how to manifest things with art, it's also like such a nice way of spending time. You are on the airplane, you are on a subway, you just need a break during your workday. It gives you such a refreshing feeling. So, instead of thinking, I am not good at drawing, therefore I should not learn it. I am not good at painting real people, so I have to draw some easy forms or only abstract forms. You might decide to draw abstract forms, but your context have to be, I can do this and this, but I choose to do this because I like it, right? Do you see the difference? If you click from time to time, yes, you agree, that would be easier for me. Well, anyway, so what I want you to understand, that you can draw and paint if you choose to learn. You can become a professional artist if you choose to do so. It is really only your decision that matters. One more time, coming back, why do I like the Art Completes You method? I like it because we can drop our negative self-talk with it. We just can drop the negative self-talk. Sorry, guys. Thank you. Okay, so that, I think also this is more important than the techniques, although we will talk about materials you need to use, we will talk about the techniques that will make it real easy for you. And I also have Marina Davidson, who is very good. I have an excellent watercolor artist who is very good, ready to share your knowledge and tips about that. So it matters where you study and from whom you learn, because the teacher that does not empower you, you just need to drop the teacher. You need to drop that way of learning. You have to, until you're strong inside and you can handle the possible abuse of your inner space, that you're not good enough, whatever. I had one student told me that when she painted something in oils, she went so proud of it. She came with the painting to her teacher, artist, professional artist, sometimes very arrogant. So she came with this painting, and the teacher took the palette knife and scraped the painting off without asking her. Now, if you come across this kind of teachers, just trust me, drop all of them. You do not need that. We do not need to learn great skills through abuse, rudeness, because being strict and diligent with your studies doesn't mean the teacher needs to be mean. I am very strict with my students, but it doesn't mean that I am not warm and loving, right? It's a different thing, because I take responsibility for them. I need the result, so of course I'm stretching their boundaries. But you cannot stretch a person's boundaries when you abuse their inner space. So if you have children, be careful and be very aware whom you choose as their teachers and mentors. And for yourself, do the same thing. So that was all context that I wanted to create on, thank you, that I wanted to create about how it is important, how important it is to address your own negative self-talk, your own ups and downs. 1 minute you feel you're high, you can do whatever, you have a big painting in mind, the next you're just, okay, there's no way I can do that, I have no clue how to do that, therefore let me just drop everything and don't touch. So I'm going to give you, so I prepared 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ideas for you. Oh, 6, awesome, that you can start using right away. I will suggest experimenting with all the ideas, because we are really all different. So for some people, one idea clicks right away and you kind of respond very easily. And another one is like you're doing, but nothing happened. So you need to focus on the ones that work for you well. And you have to monitor your progress. Because if, for example, you have some stressful situation, right? And it takes you usually after something happened, whatever you experience on your canvas, off the canvas, it takes you 3 days to come down. Then using the techniques consciously, if you can lower down that number of hours to 24 hours, and then eventually to getting a grip of yourself and going back to a productive space within 15 minutes, it's a huge win. Maybe at this point you cannot completely eliminate them, so what? Is it better to suffer 1 day instead of 3? 15 minutes instead of 1 day? Right? We will take this. But you have to be aware what is a successful technique for you. Okay? So the first technique I want to show you, I usually do it at the health fairs with companies, because it is so easy and people at work are so stressed. So watch this. So this is a mirror, right? It's pretty big, so you can see your whole face in the mirror, not just tiny thing where you see only your eyes. Seeing the whole thing in the mirror, you need to stop your eye movement and focus pupil. Kind of lock your eyes in the eyes of a person in the mirror. Okay? And stop that movement of the eye. And after that, you feel that anxiety, that self-doubt. I can never learn to be an artist, ever. I cannot apply for that job. If you have, let's say you have a presentation that you need to deliver, and your public speaking skill is not developed yet. Apart from developing your public speaking skill, which is a skill and can be developed, you also, right before going, use the mirror to calm yourself down. Take the emotion completely out of your system. Looking in your own eyes in the mirror grounds you, brings you to the present moment, and guess what? All these horror stories about your past, about your future, they stop being relevant. So usually the mirror technique takes from 10 seconds to several minutes. And you do not stop until the emotion is completely gone from your body. So I'm not sure I did the explanation right about the beginning with clarity, so I'm going to repeat. First, when you identify the emotion, unpleasant emotion that you are feeling, close your eyes at that moment. Feel the area in your body, the muscles, where you feel the anxiety, the tension, that unpleasant feeling. After that, grab a mirror and with open eyes, locking your eyes in the pupil of the person in the mirror, feel that anxiety, fear, doubt until it's completely gone. Now you are ready to either continue painting or go to your presentation. And if, let's say, you did the presentation and something hits you again with anxiety right after you did it, like, OMG, what just happened? Again, grab a mirror and take it out. For beginner artists, there is also the a little bit of issue with sharing their art. So for example, showing their art and owning it, I created it, might be an issue. So before going, let's say, to the gallery or showing it to a potential customer, do that grounding one more time. So you can own your own body at the time when you talk about your art or doing your presentation. That is a short version of the completion technique that I will address and give you links to. Next one is literally my favorite. It's 4 powerful questions to rewrite some mind blocks, change mind blocks, and they sound like that. Let's say you understand you have an anxiety. So you're looking into what thoughts you are having. For example, I am too old to do this, to start doing something. So you caught, of course, you need a lot of awareness to be able to do that. But if you already have, I see some of my friends who went to and took amazing retreats, inner awakening retreats in India with me that brings so much awareness to our being. So I'm sure you can do that. So once you catch that thought current that creates that anxiety for you, ask yourself, is it true? If the answer is yeah, clearly it is true, I'm 50, I am 60, I am 70, I am 40, it's too late. Ask yourself the third question. Is it really true all the time? This really true all the time will hint your mind to think, yeah, well, how about Grandma Moses? She started painting at the age of 80. Okay, so I guess it's not necessarily true all the time. So now you put some doubt in your mind about that thought that you do not want in your system, the powerless thought. Now, the third step is identify how you feel when you have that kind of thought. For example, I am too old to do that. How do you actually feel when you feel I am too old to do that? And you will feel like I feel low energy, I feel a little bit depressed, life, I don't see the purpose of, well, like, I don't know what am I doing, what's the use, etc. Now you ask the fourth question, which is, how would I feel if I do not have that question in my system? If I do not have this thought currents inside me, inside my being, and you observe the ideas that come, oh, I probably would be happier. I would learn a lot more things. Oh, I would sign up for a class. Oh, I would go on a date. Whatever, right? So once you have the clarity, your mind, don't rush with yourself. Your mind understands how you feel when you have certain thoughts in your body, how you would feel if you lose these ideas from your body. It, in fact, will be okay with you changing that idea to something else. And that's all we want, right? So, for example, we started with the idea it's too late for me to do it. It's too late to learn art. It's too late to move. It's too late to change my career. So now, okay, we know it's not totally true. We know that I really feel much better without that thought. So what can I change it to? And so you, in this case, might be, it's really never too late. Life is a constant happening. It's how Paramahamsa Nityananda calls it continuum rhythm. It's a rhythm that never stops. And I am part of that rhythm. So I'm going to have that instead. And believe it or not, one time of this slow, comfortable conversation with yourself can change the powerless ideas you have. And if you are a coach, if you are a teacher, that is a fantastic technique that you can use in your practice. So now we did this. Okay, so completion technique. I want to give you the link to the science of completion. I will post the link when I talk about it in the comments here. But also, the course, it's absolutely free. It's brilliant. It's literally can take, it's better than mastering in psychology. And if you want to help people, and if you want to help people succeed, whether it is your children, parents, friends, or as I said, your clients if you're a coach, or your students if you're a teacher, understanding science of completion will change their lives. and your life will change along with them. Once I started, I learned that science started practicing from 2008. And later I got certified and volunteered a lot. And it's one of the tools that I use with my coaching clients. For me personally, the best growth I experienced was, is, and looks like will be when I help people come to the space of completion. Nothing else that I do has that huge impact. Of course, it depends on what they want to do. Here we're going to be learning how to paint like really well, so you can see who you are. Because that meeting you is so exciting, and the art that comes out of you is exciting. So for that science of completion, I would 100% use with you. And if you have specific questions, you have doubts, you have powerless ideas, post them. I will help you complete whatever is stopping you in becoming authentic, excellent artist. Surely we can do that. So I will post the link. Look for the link, go register. It's all free and available. Phenomenal, phenomenal course. Another technique that I want to highly, highly recommend is listening. Listening to yourself. So when you start painting something or you start drawing, sometimes we get excited and very inspired, and we choose subjects that do require patience. But we don't have that patience. I want to draw people, but I'm not ready to sit and spend hours doing it. I want to just do like I just saw another person doing in 3 minutes, and it's clearly a person. I come from a family of really professional, outstanding Russian artists, masters. Yes, I myself witnessed an amazing person from the beginning, an amazing painting from the beginning to the end, done in 2 hours. Saw that, know that. It happens. However, it was 50 years plus these 2 hours. So allow yourself, it's okay to be a beginner. It's okay to start. If you have this anxiety that you need to, if you don't, it doesn't happen right away. Okay, it means I am bad at it. Remember how much time did it actually take for you to learn to write? I'm speaking to the older generation now. I don't know if kids are really spending that much time on working on their handwriting. But it used to be, it's a lot of time, a lot of books, and all these things, they were not looking very well when we started. But no one was giving up on us, right? It was not like an idea, oh, it's too hard, therefore let's drop it. Same with math. No one cared whether it's difficult for us to do addition or subtraction. No one had doubt that it's impossible. So it's the same as here. And once this negative self-talk drops, it's easy to learn. So you need to listen to yourself. What exactly are you telling yourself at the moment of anxiety, or when you're ready to quit doing something? How are you distracting yourself? And write them down so you can see how your mind works. Because you can have a lot of coaches, a lot of inspiration. Let's say, like Mike Phelps. right? Someone, the Olympic champions, has a lot of training and coaches, but who is swimming? He needs to swim. You need to deal with your ups and downs, and not in a way, let me give up and that's it. In a way, okay, I am experiencing a down. Okay, what can I do about it? That will shift. You will learn so fast. And hopefully, we will have your art to show in one of our live events. And that would be awesome. So there is also a listening course that I highly recommend, that I will post the link to. So both Science of Completion and listening course, they are both very, very beneficial. So let's look at what techniques we talked about. There is a mirror technique. There are powerful questions technique. There is listening to yourself, to what you are telling yourself with awareness. And you have two courses that you need to explore. One is Science of Completion course, and another one, listening course. Both are absolutely phenomenal. So I want these ideas for you to be as your regular thought currents. You can write them down and contemplate. Idea number one, I can learn to paint well or draw well if I choose to invest my resources into that. What are my resources? Time, energy, money. This is the only idea. If I choose to invest my resources, I can do that. Because it shows me, yeah, that matters to me. Second idea, I can become a prominent art professional if I choose to invest my resources into that. Same idea. You can, if it is your decision. Last one. I means you, right? I can decide whether I use art and the knowledge I receive to better my life emotionally, experience creative flow, or I decide to do it professional, or all of it together. I can decide. So if you, by the way, if you need a personal life coaching, rapid breakthrough session, please message me here on Facebook or email me at artcompleteyou@gmail.com with the specific idea what you want to get resolved. It's free, it's very powerful, no nonsense. Okay, so it's easy. It's artcompleteyou@gmail.com, but messaging me on Facebook works as fun. What else I wanted to offer? I wanted to show you these two books. This is one called Guaranteed Solutions, and this one is called Living Enlightenment. We will use these books when we do our art magic. I did the first workshop on Find Your Soulmate last week. So if you're interested in the relationship, please watch that first one. It has a lot of information. When I do the next workshop on the relationships, I will use thought currents, new ideas from this absolutely amazing goddess book. It changes how we see ourselves, how we see others, and creating art with it is a very rich spiritual experience. I am sure I will do one of these classes either this week or next week. I have my mom is turning 80. So for her birthday, she decided to take a trip to India to actually explore where I'm going. I've been to India with my guru, traveled all over the place from Himalayas to south of India, so many temples. So, and it started a long time ago. I met him in 2007. So my mom decided to go there. So my May, I will spend there and I will conduct my live classes from India itself. I don't know how many, but I want to continue and I want to build the inspiration for people being empowered, empowered with such awesome thing as art. So I highly, highly recommend get Art Completes You book. It's not like a book of me talking about whatever I decided to share my emotions, feelings, thoughts. It's a very simple, very practical. This is the thought current. These are the exercises you need to do to develop the art skill. And the whole book, if you want, just read the introduction to every chapter and then go straight to the exercises, that'd be just fine. Because these exercises are so powerful, they can open up the knowledge that's within you. I am speechless quite often that this thing opened up for me. So anyway, thank you very much. That was my class for today. Please be so kind, share it with your friends and family. I am going to keep, for now, I don't know how long this Facebook Live videos can stay, as long as Facebook allows them, I guess. But then even after that, I will be downloading and putting it somewhere so they continue, so they are going to be available for people even after this project of mine goes into the next level of expansion. So message me, tell me what's useful, what maybe there is some topic you would like to hear. And tomorrow we're going to make art together. So please have your sketchbook, your pencils, maybe you like paints, please have paints, sketchbooks that you can carry around with you if you're at work when you are watching these live streams would be great. And don't hesitate to connect. Thank you. Bye, guys.